welcome everybody back to the channel and the never-ending saga of Project 69. In my last video, I said I thought that was the end of the rust on the cab. And I knew better than to say that because I had yet to sand all the paint off the truck. But between now and my last video, I began sanding the paint off the cowl and the firewall, and I got over to the driver's side cowl that comes down this side. And when I got the paint sanded off, I found some rust bubbles, went to poking around, and we've got plenty of rust on that cowl. So in this video here, we're going to begin the process of fixing this outer cowl piece. But by doing this one and other things on the truck, I know as soon as I cut that cowl panel off, there's no telling what we're going to find in behind there. Now, it's not bad rust, but it is pitted and it does have some holes in it. So we're not going to leave it. So I'll probably split this video up into a couple, and I'll definitely make one by itself of how to replace and make and replace your cowl panel. But for these next probably 2 or 3 videos, we're just going to go through it step by step, all of it. So without further ado, let's get over there and start cutting that cowl panel off and see what is behind there. I already know we got to fix the cowl, but what's behind it? Yet to be determined. Stay tuned. Well, guys, will it ever be over? I'm not sure. But after my last video of completing the floor pan and getting more paint off of the exterior, I started getting paint off of the cowl and stuff here. Started getting it off of the front of the cowl, bottom of the truck. I worked my way around here, around the windshield track, and got to this section here, and I was hoping I was done with the rust, and as always, we are not. There's a pit there. Couple pits there. This is part of the cowl. And again, I've not found if they make a patch replacement for this piece here. But I had to make one for the other side because it was the same way. It was a little worse. And I was hoping I didn't have to do that on the driver's side, but I cannot leave that. Rusty here. And then underneath, if I can get you a good shot here. Couple pits there, and it's worse down here. Kind of eat up through there. Let me get a light so you can see it better. So it looks like we're going to be making another patch panel. There we go. Yep, we cannot, or I'm not going to leave that. Now on the other side of the truck, I had to replace, see if I can do this here. I had to replace this piece here. And then on the other side, this whole door post here was rotted out, along with my door pillar right here. Now, I've got everything sanded off of this one, and it is looking good. I don't see any rust in these two pieces, but it is rusty up here. I didn't show this on my YouTube channel because I done started this before I decided to make videos, but I've showed this in a couple other videos. But so right through here down, this is a new piece, and then right here all the way up to here is a new piece. So this whole piece here and right here, and then mine was rusted on up further than what the patch panel went, so I made a section right here, and then we replaced this box here, part of the heater and the cowl, and then I had to make this patch panel here. I just made that out of some, well, basically I think that's the floor pan material. So we're gonna have to make this again. Now this panel here, we glued this panel in, and I'll have to come through and level it out here. I didn't want to weld it because I don't want this to warp up, and I also wanted to try out that body panel adhesive, and it's awesome. I like that stuff. So we'll probably do the same thing again. Basically what I did, well, I'll show it, but we made this patch panel here, but the actual panel goes up higher. It goes all the way up to here and through there, so it's glued all through here. Yep, so we're gonna have to do that again. So let's get everything set up and I'll cut you back on. Alrighty. So what we need to do is measure how high up this one is. We're going to cut the other side about the same height, because this right here got all the rust out of this side, and I don't think that side is higher than this. So let's see what we got here. About 2 3/8. Okay. Put us a couple marks here. I was hoping to be done with the rust repair on the cab, but we're not going to get that lucky. So we made us a couple marks here, 2 3/8. Get us a line drawn out here. Alright, got us a line drawn, good dark line so we can see. Got it coming all the way around, because we're going to replace all this. So you got to get rid of a couple spot welds. I know we got 1, 2 right there. We may have 1 here and here. And then we got them across the bottom right through here. And then we brought our line on across. We've got a spot weld here and here. So once we get that cut across and get these spot welds out, this piece right here just pops off. And the good thing is we'll be able to get back up and underneath it now, clean and paint the back side of this piece as far up as we can reach, and we'll be able to get inside here and see what all is going on. Like I said, I don't think that I'm going to have to replace any of this. Now, I was hoping I was done with all the rust a minute or earlier. And of course, this popped up. But even with getting all this sanded off here, there's not any rust popping through. So that's a very good sign. But let's get everything set up and get this ready to start cutting and drilling out. I've done stepped it up twice, so let's see if we can get these spot welds drilled out here. Okay, so there's two right here. 1, 2. I didn't know if it was or not. Let me get those drilled out and I'll cut you back on. It don't look too bad, but we're not going to keep it. And that was what was behind it. Alrighty, let's see what we got up here. It looks more scaly than anything. Yeah, so we might. I gotta get this here off. It's a little L bracket they put in there. Yeah, see now. Be able to see back up and in there. So all in all, I'm not seeing any holes in anything, just real bad scale that I could definitely get cleaned off, and hopefully we don't have any surprises back up and in there. maybe right here. There's only one way to find out, and that is to get it all cleaned up. And that's where I drilled it off right there. Alright, let me get some stuff cleaned up and I'll cut you back on here in just a second. See what the total cost of this damage is here. Right. Let me get it cleaned up and I'll cut you back on. Alrighty. Got that cleaned up in there. Show everybody what we're doing here. So it's looking pretty good. We've got a spot right here that I'm probably going to address. But as far as everything, oh yeah, we got 2 pits right there. Get them. But up and in there is all looking good. It just needs to be painted. Back up and in there. And then down and in there. See if I can get a good shot of it. There's down and in there. Yeah. So that's that piece, and then we've got some pits right here. And then we'll address this piece through here. So what we're going to do is I went ahead and drilled them out. We're going to take this box here off. Now this box here is good. We'll address this right here and a little bit right here. That's all this box has got. And then I'm going to cut this here out. Fix this piece here. And I think in the doorpost here, it's not bad. Just needs to be cleaned up. It's getting down towards the bottom. And I'll have to clean that up down in there. Looks like there's a couple pits down there on the bottom. We'll see if we can get clean all that niceness up right there. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and pop this heater, part of the heater box off. We'll get it off. That'll give me better access to in there. Alright, got that cut off here. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay. So all in all, not too bad. It needs to be cleaned up. See what's underneath all that scale. But not as bad as I thought it would be. Alright, let me get it cleaned up, and we'll see what we got underneath all that crust. Alrighty, got it cleaned up there. It is not too bad. Now granted, I wish it was better, but we got to work with what we got here. So this edge here ain't bad, where all that crust and stuff was. No. I cleaned it up a little bit with a grinder and a wire wheel. And we've definitely got to clean up all this here. Well, not clean it up. We're going to cut this piece here out. We'll cut it out right through here. And we'll replace this piece here. I don't know, about 2.5 inches or so. And then we're going to have to cut this piece here out. We'll probably come down. We'll go from the inside. But we'll cut it right through here. And right up and underneath this right through here. Get all that. That up in here. That's not too bad deep. I'll weld up some of these. I started welding up some of these here. I hit a spot here and see how it blew through. So I'm not even going to fool with that. It's too thin. So we'll just cut this piece here out. But on down through here, got a couple spots we're going to fix. But we can weld up all those. That ain't no trouble at all. Any pits down through there. It's actually not in bad shape. So yeah. So before we can fix this piece here, out here, and I had to do the same thing on the other side over there, but we're going to fix this piece here, fix that there, and anything else, and then we'll have to paint all this, primer and paint all this. Then we'll start making this piece here. Alrighty, everybody. So I've got our piece marked out here. This is the shape we're going to cut out. Cut back to right here. Cut it all the way around. Should get away with not taking this spot weld here out, but we'll have to drill that spot weld there. And we've got all the bad pits out. So let's start getting this cut out, and I'll cut you back on here in a second. I'm not going to show a bunch of it. It takes up too much time. So just getting a cut-off wheel, and we're going to cut this shape here out of the truck. Alrighty. Got that cut out there. Got all the big pits out of it. I'll see about them right there before we put our piece back on. It looks good down and in here. But I went ahead and got a new piece cut out. So here's the old piece. And went ahead and cut a new piece out. and went ahead and got it bent over. So basically what I did was, to make this piece, is I just lined this new piece up with the old one, stuck it right there in my vise, and bent it over to match the old one. Stuck it in like that, clamped it down, and then rolled the end of the new one over to match the end of the old one. Now I still got to trim it in. Because you can see that it's a little big, but that's okay. That's typically how I like to make them, and then just trim them in to fit. But got the new piece here. Bring it over here. Once I get it trimmed down, it looks like it's gonna fit pretty good. Alright, everybody. So I got them pits right here. I got them all cleaned up. And I got them welded up. Welded them pits up that was right here. Went ahead and primered and painted that. And on the new piece, got it trimmed down. Went ahead and got it primered and painted. And it'll go on there. Got the correct gap in there. I'll have to get my spacers out and space it out, but it is ready to go. So I will get it clamped up and welded on, and then we will see what it looks like. Alrighty. Got that welded on there. And it is looking good. Got them two holes that is patched up. One here and one here. But we got our piece on there. And it looks really good. So now we'll get started on this piece down here. And you can see the pits in it there. But yeah. So let's get everything set up, and we're going to cut this piece here out. Get all that fixed up. Alright, everybody. We've been down here. I got the heat running, so it might be a little loud in the background. So we replaced this piece here. We jump down here. We are going to get, well, I've already got that piece right there cut out. And I went ahead and primered and painted where the two pieces are going to go together here. Went ahead and filled in my drill holes right there. We got it cut out all the way to, you can see the light coming in back there. Coming in through the door hole. Come around to the inside. So that took care of all that pitting and all carrying on where that box right there come down and welded to the truck. That's where that pitting was coming from. That garbage falls inside that box right here. It'll set. And it just rots everything out. Now the pieces are right here. That's the old piece. And there's the new piece. right there. This old piece come out of the old piece of floorboard where I'd cut it out. Keep all you scrap pieces. You never know when you need to buy. I ain't really bought a lot of new metal. I bought some pieces when I first got started, but once I got started on the truck, I'm just using all the old pieces. Now you can't use all this because it's pitted up in areas. That's the reason why I got rid of it. But they are some good pieces on here. You just have to clean it up. Anyhow, I still got to make this little piece right here. See that pitted up real bad? That ain't no good. It actually had a little hole in it. A little rust hole right there. This little piece here is that little flange piece right here. Goes to this in here. Like that. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and get that new piece clamped on here. I didn't want to cut up in here. I don't want to have to reshape this here. See how it's shaped? Got poked with a piece of metal. So I didn't want to have to make that, so I cut below it. And luckily, all the rust is out. There's a little bit of pitting right here. Nothing like the other piece. I'll be able to weld this here up. Just a couple pits right there. None of it's through and it's not horrible. So once we get this clamped up and welded on, I'm going to come back through and weld up all of our drill holes here. A couple right here. I forgot to say something a minute ago. Another thing that I'm doing, I did it on the other side, is I opened this up here. Get rid of all that nasty seam sealer that they had in there. And I'm going to clean that up in there real good. And then we can straighten all that back up and weld it all back together. But I don't want to look at all that niceness that's come out of there so far. All the rust and stuff. But I needed to open it up too, because where I took that box off, it tore the metal right here a little bit. So what we'll do is we'll take us a thin piece of aluminum here, and we'll get it back in there, and then we'll weld all this up and fix all that. I got one there, and I think I got one right here. And then we can straighten all this up, clamp it back together, and get all these holes welded up, weld it all back together. But that's just one other thing I'm doing, because it is nasty in there. And you can see just all the rust and stuff and potential spots to cause trouble in the future. And I don't want that. Now I'm not taking it all the way apart, just enough to where I can get in there and clean it up a little bit. But thought I'd hop on here and show that. We'll get it all fixed up. Alrighty, got that all welded back together, got all them holes filled up down through here, and where it was tore, got all that fixed. Got to smooth up some of my grind marks, but we got it pinched back together and welded up. Okay, and all them drill holes that I had in there, went ahead and got them filled in, and over here on the post, got all them holes filled in. Now, these holes you see here, that's from the factory. I'm going to leave all them. Yep, we're going to leave all the holes that the factory had down through there. We're just putting it back the way we found it, minus the rust. But anyhow, got our piece on there, getting ready to weld it down.
And we'll come back through and clean all this up, smooth it up real good. And she will be ready to paint or treat all this and then primer and paint it. Go ahead and put her box and stuff back on here and make this piece here. Get this finished up. Got to paint, do all that crap under here. But what we're going to do now is start welding this thing here on. Went ahead and got the 2 holes drilled in it. Got it primered and painted back there. In between these two, I got to make a piece that goes right here. Right there. But I'll get that, and it's easy. We'll go ahead and get this here welded on, and then I'll come back through and put her piece here and weld it. I'll cut you back on when we get her done. Alrighty, everybody. We got that piece welded on there. The outside, got it painted right here. We got to weld in her little tab piece right there. This piece right here. It runs down. I had to get rid of that because that had a little bit of rust on it. Got it laying up here. We done made it. It's a little bitty piece. Went ahead and got it primered and painted on the back side. And then from the inside, put the light in there so we can see. It don't fall over. Set in there. We got it welded up from the inside. Got a bunch of wires hanging down. But yeah, we got it welded up from the inside. Now I still got a little bit of touch up we're gonna do right there. And I gotta trim a little more down on my finger right back there. But other than that, it come out good. Good and flush. But we got that piece welded on. I went ahead and started cleaning up on the firewall here. That's what all them wires are. Pulled all the wires through the firewall and started grinding off some paint and niceness on that firewall. So we can get in there and start working on that. So the last thing I'm going to do on this video here is get our little piece right there put on. So let me get everything set up and I'll cut you back on. Alrighty. So we got it all on there. Got our little piece on there. Got our patch panel on there, and it looks, the whole kick panel now is looking good. So there ain't no more rust on the door pillar here. And there ain't no rust on the inner and outer kick panel. And like I said earlier, been working on getting all of the firewall cleaned off. But for this side right here, still got to I got to weld a spot right here on the back side of this, and then we got to come in here and make our patch panel for the end of our cowl here. And then I'll have to, I think I'm just going to fix this box. I think I'm just going to come through and fix these areas here and use this same box, because there's nothing wrong with it. Ain't no sense of spending another $100 when it's solid. The only areas that need some help is the flange that goes around it. And that'd be an easy fix there. Yeah, I'm not gonna waste $100 on buying a new one of these when the older ones are a lot better material than what anything you can get new. And all it needs is that flange to be repaired, the outer edge. Got a little bit up here. That's all easy. Easy. But yeah, and that box goes. If I can get it held up here one-handed. It goes on there like so. But yep, happy to have that done. I was hoping that I didn't have no more rust, but of course you keep going. What it was is this side was still had paint on it, and when I wire brushed the paint off of this cowl here, that thin metal exposed the pits and it was rusted out. I couldn't see it with the paint on it, but that's okay. It needed to be fixed. It is getting fixed, and eventually we'll have no rust in it. I'm not going to say this should be all the rust, because every time I do, I find something else. But this will be it on this video, guys. And on the next video, we will make our patch panel that goes here and get our box fixed and go ahead and get him put back on. Got to get everything painted in here. Raw. So until next time, I will see you guys on the next video.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it on this video here. We got a pretty good ways. Still got a little bit to go. We'll end this video here. I don't like them being any longer than 40-45 minutes if I can help it. I think we're doing alright with what we're working with. Got us an old cheap Harbor Freight welder. Some just knockoff off the wall tools. And a whole lot of willpower. We're going to get this thing done. I always liked this generation of Ford truck. And this one here has been in the family for quite a while now. And we are definitely going to get him back out on the road and looking good. One way or another. Again, guys, I'm a novice at this. I really don't know 100%. I'm doing it step by step, just trying to figure it out as I go. I know a lot of you out there watching are professionals, or at least know what you're doing, and you're probably laughing at how I do it. But that's alright. We will get her done, and I know it'll look good. But as always, guys, I appreciate you watching me stumble through this project here. And slowly but surely, Project 69 is coming around. But my name's Stacy over at Dirt 4 Garage 79, and I will catch you guys on the next one.